How's it going, everyone? We have Mason Baptista on with us today. Mason, a 4-year St. Norbert alum. He's a 5-year pro, and one of those years being in Europe and Germany. Currently, he's also a player coach for the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. Thanks for coming on with us.
Yeah, no, love to be here and talk to you today.
Yeah, so Mason, introduce yourself, I guess, and just tell us a little bit more about your hockey experiences and where you've come from.
Well, yeah, like you said, I was my alma mater is St. Norbert College. I was actually fortunate enough to win 2 national championships there. It was a great experience and learning curve that helped me when I went to pro. I played with Fort Wayne for most of my career, short stint with Wichita Thunder, and like you said, Germany was I went there for a couple months, and then this year I was a player coach at Greenville Swamp Rabbits, where I got to work with the coaches about tactics, video, and got to work more closely with players. And then I own my own business, my online business, Baps Hockey IQ business. So,
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you're doing similar things and really not only are you still playing, but you're giving back to the kids, which is awesome. It's crazy to see now on the whole, I guess, coaches side, for myself is how much different it is for being a coach than it is a player. I guess, you always get the understand the leadership part that it takes to talk to these kids and all that, but how much preparation and time goes
yeah.
into being a coach, it's crazy. You don't even
Well,
know
yeah, just
until
like
you do it
just
all.
analyzing a couple clips, right? It takes forever just to cut it up, and then you have to watch it a couple times. A lot of people think that, like as a player, I used to, when I was getting coaching, I would be like, "Oh, why doesn't he just send me the clips right away?" It's like, well, they got to watch it over multiple times. They got to make sure they're saying the right things. They got to make sure they're not giving you the wrong cues. There's lots of things that go into it. So, like 10 clips could take 2-3 hours to break down.
Absolutely. Yeah. I do online coaching myself with some of these kids. So I'm sure we both have our different ways or procedures, but yeah, it takes a long time to be able to not only get the shifts from them, to watch their shifts, take notes, make sure that they're in depth and detailed of what we're seeing, different skills, and whether it's hockey IQ or anything positionally. But then you got to present it them on the FaceTime or the video session, and that all takes so long, I find, and something new for us. And it's great to develop, because as a player myself, that's why I'm doing it. I wish I had that mentor that played to a high level, that also even were good in those areas, had strengths in those areas, and just passing it on, because those little things make huge differences and different perspective for the players.
No, absolutely. And like, as you see, every player is different. And coaches can't manage every player. It's just hard. The best coaches in the game kind of can. But even in the NHL, they have like 4 or 5 coaches behind the bench. And they all have like their players they have to work with. And every player needs that individual personalized programming. And that's what you're able to do with this online stuff. And it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get going here. Got a few questions for you to share with the players, parents, and coaches, followers, fans, all of that. With your knowledge and experiences, what is one thing that you would like to discuss with the players, parents, and coaches?
The first thing I always discuss with all my players and in my course I really focus on is radical ownership mindset. And so what that means is taking full responsibility for all outcomes, regardless of the circumstance that happened to you, and then looking to find a solution. I find it's very easy to blame others, blame teammates, coaches, scouts, but it's very difficult to look in the mirror and be like, okay, what can I do differently? What can I do better? What could I have done to change this outcome? And it's harder, and that's typically like a good filter to know, okay, this is probably the right path. The easy path typically runs you down. It's very short-term thinking. It's not going to help you in the long run. So if you get in the habit of doing the hard things more often, in the long run, you're going to be able to be more successful, regardless if it's hockey or anything else.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Even when you're saying that type of thing, the harder things, even my dad and all these people around as you're younger, they always say, just do it harder. And a lot of that is just mental, right? Like even, I talked about on the Hockey Think Tank with Topher Scott and them and Jeff Lavecchio that going for long runs 1 hour, like that's not a real fun thing to do. Yes, it's great for us, but no one wants to just keep running and
Yeah.
running for that. But it's very good for our cardio, but no, it's huge for our mental strength
Mhm.
to be able to occupy your mind
Yeah.
and think during those. I would say it gets boring when you're running, right? So
Mhm.
I think those are the hard times in one of the ways I think you can relate to what you're saying.
Well, yeah, and we all do it. Like we were talking before about our own careers, like how we've had a lot of tough times, and it's very easy to get in the blame game. And I'm not like delusional. I'm not going like, oh, I'm never going to get mad at my line mate or I'm never going to get mad at a coach. But it's like, how fast can you switch to radical ownership? And I like we talk about extreme, but it's like a spectrum. So we have blaming others and radical ownership, and then we want to get into the sweet spot. And we're typically over here in the blame game. So we got to swing ourselves over here and then we can find ourselves into that sweet spot. But first, it starts the radical ownership mindset. That's how we're going to be able to take advantage of the things that we can do better and really prioritize our development.
Yeah, yeah. They always say, how big the mindset and the brain, the hockey IQ, all that is a part of hockey, and it's probably like 95% at least, if not more.
Well, yeah, you need to put it all together, right? And the brain's what's going to do that. We've seen so many guys with I talk about hardware, software comparison. We've seen the guys with the hardware. We've seen the great practice players, but we've seen the great drones. I call them drone hockey players. They just, follow orders. But at the end of the day, if you want to be an impact and be dynamic in games, you have to really step outside of that realm.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I call a lot of times, a lot of people is stepping outside the box, out of your comfort
Yeah.
zone, and doing things. When someone does something very unique, you're like, whoa, and the fans are like, whoa, I've never seen that really before, or in a different way, right?
Yeah.
Just a different way of thinking and executing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So after discussing, I guess, the mentality, what habits would you influence the players to do at home, and especially during this situation that we're dealing with worldwide?
So again, so once you get that mindset down, it's like, okay, I don't have all the tools. I don't have the fancy net, the fancy sauce kit. I don't have this stuff at home. Like, okay, I guess I can't get better. I might as well sit down and binge watch some The Office on Netflix. It's like, well, no, like we got to. This is an opportunity, and I guarantee you, there's going to be a group of kids in the age span between like 10 and 14. That group coming up, you're going to see some unbelievably skilled players because of this time frame. They're going to be able to take advantage of a development opportunity that none of us ever had. Like this is a window to stay at home and like they can't go anywhere else. So this is an opportunity to really like get some detailed work. And so players that are right now, like when you're at home, evaluate your own game. And I talk about prioritize, plan, and execute. This is a perfect time. So a good example, like for me, myself, I need to prioritize conditioning and mechanics. Like in the summer, I don't get a ton of time to do that. So I can do a ton of conditioning when we talk about running. So I'm going to be like, let me go out, let me do some more running. It sucks mentally, but I got to train my mind to build through that so that when I'm in games, I can execute the skills. And then from a skill standpoint, there's little skating and shooting things that I want to do. So I get on my rollerblades. Just because there's no ice, I'm sure lots of kids have rollerblades. And if you don't have that, then focus on stick handling. So there's always options. But it's about when you have that radical ownership mindset, now you're thinking about problem solving. And now you can start focusing on the things that you need to do better. And now you're developing. You've had this optimal environment of growth versus just, woe is me. Right. And so we see it too often. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah. Yeah. And with the success I've had to get to the pro levels, it was like I said earlier, is I wish I had that mentor to be able to tell me a lot of this other stuff. I had many, many mentors that influenced me to play hockey, to keep loving it and all that stuff. But, to be able to tell me, I didn't learn a toe drag until I was probably in second year juniors or whatever. I used to just do the the pullback stick handle, like where you approach the guy and you pull it back as a stick handle, not a toe, like actually with a toe. But like there's things have evolved so fast, but now there's guys that have played the game so far that can really teach these skills to a detailed way of doing it.
Well, yeah, you're doing it with the video analysis. You have a lot of kids that you get to reach and connect with, and you see it like this is a great opportunity. This is the first time in history that hockey players have this advantage. They don't need this personalized training face to face now. Like you can do all this work with video. I told kids like take your iPhone and just tape yourself. Put it on top of a chair, tape yourself, and go watch some YouTube clips and watch the best, and now compare. Like I could never do that. You could never do that when we were growing up. Like we didn't have access to that. Yeah. I had a razor phone. You could barely do videos. It was like this, like the screen barely worked.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, back when I was younger, we didn't even have cell phones, but as I got older, we got the flip phones with no camera, and then all of a sudden, no, definitely ways, more tools, more ways, different ways to get better. And you just hope each player can reach that maximal potential.
We want to like I said, we talked about prioritizing. A lot of kids love to just goal set, and I try to stay away too much from the mindset things. I try to focus on the key ones, like radical ownership. But if you're just goal setting all the time, but you never prioritize, it becomes very difficult you're spinning your tires in mud. You need to prioritize, evaluate your game. Like you have the time now. Like I said, kids always complain about it, and you probably hear parents, there's not enough time in the day. It's like, we have the time. Probably got another 4 weeks to this. So.
Yeah, exactly. At least it sounds like another up this way. Things are looking pretty good up here, but it's just, they say that this could go on for a long time, and you never know what they're actually thinking.
I was trying to think worst case, right? So you got to plan for the worst case scenario.
Exactly. I've heard things up to 6 months, 8 months, and even 1 year of doing this. They just haven't fully stated that yet. Just waiting for the vaccine. But who knows? But these kids, the weather's nice out here. I'm sure most places as it is summer over here, or getting to summer over here these days. And get outside, be active. You can, if you got siblings, if you got parents that live with you, that you can do things to get better, and obviously independently taking upon yourself to be disciplined and just work on little things that you want to work on. Most kids like to shoot puck or shoot balls or whatever, or stick handle, but there are other ways you can be doing things, whether it's squats, extra push-ups, extra sit-ups, quick feet type coordination stuff.
Yeah. Well, I had a conditioning one yesterday. All I needed was 3 meters of space. It was, we had mountain climbers 10 mountain climbers, 10 high knees on the spot, 10 in and outs on the spot, and then running back and forth shuttles 6 times. We did that, and that takes you about 35 to 40 seconds, and a minute and a half break. Do that 8 times.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, my lungs were burning. As soon as I finished the 5th one, I was like, oh my God, this is not what I want to do right now. Like, it's the last thing I want to do, but I'm training my mind to be able to handle these loads so I can sustain performance in season when the time comes.
For sure. Yeah. Great. So from bringing around the youth, what is the biggest area of change that you would want to see?
And hockey IQ. It's just straight up like, this is something that is underdeveloped from the youth level all the way to pro level. Like, again, like I was talking to you before, like the pro players I was working with, just evaluating through the hockey IQ side, the deficiencies that I saw it was huge. I couldn't believe it. And it's just things that you can easily improve, but they were never made aware of. And so, especially with my younger kids, the parents love it, because the one that I talk about is reading puck possession. And most people don't even know what that means. But if you have the puck, you're on offense. When you don't have the puck, you're on defense. It's a simple read. I'll use that example. And most players aren't even reading the game that way. Like, the other team may have the puck and they think they're still on offense. They're running to create, and you're like, the mindset shifts. And I'm trying to talk to them about how you got to switch that mindset of, okay, I need to get on offense or I need to get on defense. I need to read possession. And players simply don't know how to do that. And that's like the most fundamental one that I'm talking about. And most kids at the youth level all the way to pro don't do that consistently. The best in the game do, but no one's talking about it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's important to, all that stuff. It's when it comes from a young age too of who's coaching you, and
Yeah.
the influences, and not that myself or even us are perfect players,
I'm
but
furthest from perfect. That's like, I watch my game tape and I'm just going, oh my God, come on, man. What are you doing?
yes, exactly.
It's a game of mistakes.
Yeah, the number one great thing about that though is you're watching yourself. You're trying to hold yourself accountable and trying to be better. That's what coaches want at the end of the day. They want you to be better. They know they're not going to get a perfect player. They rather you not do that mistake 2 or 3 times in a row. But it takes longer for others to understand. But it's what I've seen, especially is while doing this online coaching stuff, and comparing it to what I saw in playing pro. Over that period of, I guess, 9 years, you just see guys in pro hockey, whether they're 21 years old coming in or they're, 25, 26, they're not understanding even a lot of the systems that are being taught. I don't think there's too many hockey systems that coaches try and play. You hear about the 1-2-2 or the left wing lock, and there's not much really else.
Pretty
But
simple. They're all fairly simple.
yeah, and don't get me wrong, being a skills coach, skating coach, with these kids, puck handling, shooting, all that type of stuff we work on. Um, that stuff is important. Absolutely, like the skill is important, but at the end of the day, like you got to be able to think the game and play that way without the puck first, and then you get the puck in the game. Just so important. And system wise, like if you're not going to play in the coach's system, then you're not going to be able to play for that coach. And he's going to trade you. He's going to release you. He's going to cut you.
You're just not going to play well. You're going to have a bad year.
Right, exactly. And the fit, it just got to fit. The odds will be against you in that stuff. So, we talk a lot about the players, but on the coaching end, I think we just hope a lot of the coaches can take that extra time to explain, to discuss these systems that are being taught. Even if they're not playing the system, if you got some extra time with the kids someday, you just draw it up on the board, you explain it, you do it in your best way possible that you can. And I'm seeing guys in pro hockey that don't even know how to do the 1-2-2.
I literally don't understand like why they're doing it. And that's my biggest thing I've seen in pro is coaches get very frustrated when they hear the why question. Why? And as a coach, and now we're on the coaching side, I got that. And I was like, okay, well, you're asking me why a lot. So whenever I think that means that I wasn't able to deliver the message as clearly as I could. And so as a coach, if you're hearing that, the reason is they're not understanding exactly what you're saying. They're not getting the message. So we have to just do a better job. And it's tough. It's not easy. Like I get why it's frustrating. I've seen coaches at pro, younger coaches, they're just like, can you stop asking why? Right? Like, just do it. And it's just like when they get into that mode, it becomes, now players are confused and it's a recipe for a disaster.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. We're just, as coaches, especially not just skills, but IQ and all that, we're just trying to help each individual get to those next levels, reach their goals and dreams, but maximizing their potential to that ceiling. You see some of the kids, they're getting better over time, but you're like, no, I feel like you got way more in you, more room to grow in that short period of time. And it can be done.
We don't want to leave anything on the table, right? We want to do our best to like take it all off and really just go all out, max out as we can. So I see it too often as well. Like it's just kids leaving too much talent on the table, leaving them. There's so much more opportunity. to grow. And like you talked about, like the play without the puck, that's one of the big things I talk about too, is most of the game is played without the puck. 95% of the game. Like the best in the game, I think I saw, it was Patrick Kane and Barzell in the ozone, hold it for like, I think it was an average of like 1.5 to 2 minutes, and that might be high. And those are the absolute best. So a majority of players aren't holding on the puck very long. And so your play without the puck will set you up to make sure you're in the best position to execute and score.
Right. Yeah, for sure. All great points that we've had talked about here. Before we let you go, is there anything else you want to add of what we talked about, or even just explain more about your company and what you're doing with the kids and players?
Well, yeah, just again, in my company's Babs Hockey. We just developed our first course, the IQ Game course. The system is a step-by-step process for developing hockey IQ for levels from beginner to elite. And we define that as like high school, junior players, college players. We're working on the pro section right now, and it's all based around the stuff we talked about: radical ownership, really understanding the fundamentals of the game, and then teaching you how to anticipate and make optimal decisions. That's what we do, and so that's what we specialize in. And we have Instagram and YouTube, and we're trying to give as much information as we can, especially now, to try and help out and give back during a really tough time. So for more information, please come check it out. Give me a follow. I'd love to help you out.
Yeah, great. Okay. Well, thanks for coming on here, everyone. This is Mason Baptista, 6-year pro, played in the ECHL, played overseas, also NCAA, and currently a player coach. So follow him. Yeah. And thanks for coming on again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Brandon. Appreciate it.
All right.